the Knights, their time has arrived. I think last week that 10-man performance in the preliminary final was absolutely exceptional, so I'm going for the Knights.
When you talk of Knights, it's a real fighting team.
Buskuk into the back of the net. Melbourne Knights take the lead 1-0. Melbourne Knights will win the Doherty Cup.
Croatia looking for a finals berth. That's it! The Croatia fans salute the goal that could be so vital.
And good evening, Knights fans. Welcome back to the Night Train, where we'll be discussing everything and anything Melbourne Knights. I'm your host, Anthony Zovak. Joined again tonight, Josh Parrish. Joshy, how you going, my friend?
I'm going well. What a game on the weekend.
Mate,
sensational.
belter.
It was a
Belter.
sensational game. I was privileged to commentate it. It was a great attendance. The atmosphere was terrific. The standard of play was probably as high as I've seen in NPL Victoria. And, you know, that might be a grand final preview.
Look, mate,
Just might be.
I'm hoping you're right. I'm sure all the Knights fans out there in the ether listening are hoping you're right as well. But like we said last week, mate, coming into the game, it's going to be one of the games of the season, regardless of result. You know, given the nature of both teams like to play their football, mate. And just in general, what a cracking weekend of football.
It was fantastic. There were plenty of thrills and spills and upsets, and you know, the NPL just keeps delivering week after week after week.
Just like the Knights do. Now, we've got a cracker show for you tonight. We're obviously going to be going over the game from the weekend. We've got some junior news, women's team news, and we'll be previewing the two games we've got coming up this week. So we're playing Heidelberg on Wednesday night at home at 7:30. And then the magic of the cup begins on Saturday against Josh's favourite team in the comp, Old Scotch.
Thrash 'em, please. Thank you.
I'm sure we will. I'll kick things off with a bit of junior news. So our NPL team's heavy schedule is coming to an end with their last pre-season qualification against Brisbane Stallions this Easter Saturday. Our NPL teams had a tough pre-qualification period hampered by a number of injuries. They'll have a 2-week break until the season commences. So I'm sure all the teams are looking forward to that, getting really into that and getting that going. At the IND Gala held this weekend at Dynamo St Albans, we were so proud of all of our junior girls, boys and mini Roos teams. It was an excellent day showcasing the many talented players and a great atmosphere with all of our fellow Croatian clubs. We wish all our junior parents and players a happy Easter weekend, and that goes out to all of you Knights fans with the Easter weekend coming up. You know, enjoy the time away with your families, but there's going to be a sprinkling of football scattered across the Easter weekend.
And there's going to be midweek football as well.
Which is exciting. I love the magic of a Wednesday night game. Really breaks up your week, gets you through hump day.
Yeah, I was really excited when I saw the fixtures coming up. I was like, more? We get more? I thought it was just a week off and then FFA Cup, which, you know, there'll be some great games and then some pretty straightforward ones.
Yeah.
But, you know, midweek football coming up Wednesday night, and there's 7 games on the one night. So fingers crossed the Sportscast stream holds up.
Unlike this weekend.
Unlike it didn't on Saturday.
So apologies to all the fans who missed our...
I was spewing as much as any of you. I was calling the game. I had the Facebook Live comments open. I had, you know, lots of interaction going on there. It was great. I had people correcting me on the German club that Trevor Zvetslip played for, even though I interviewed him like 2 weeks previously. Thank you, James, for straightening me out on that one. And then it starts looping previous footage and screwing up. I immediately informed the cameraman. He reckoned it was nothing he could do from his end, and the problem was essential the problem was upstairs. Some unnamed authority had screwed that one up. So a big sincere apology to everybody who missed it, but there's not really anything we could do on the ground, unfortunately.
Look, that's just the way it goes sometimes. Unfortunate to anyone watching on the stream, but that's all more reason to come down to the game because you can't cut the stream out there, mate.
Exactly. That's the benefit of the match-going fan. Technical issues will not get in your way.
No.
So, it would have been your loss if you weren't at Avenger Park on Saturday afternoon.
Definitely. And there were Knights fans out in absolute droves on the weekend, Josh.
Yeah, it was,
again.
Sounded like a home game. They were right in front of the comedy position, I suppose. But,
look, to me, there were three groups of fans there. There was the Knights fans, the Avondale fans, and the U Brigade.
the Yusuf Ahmed fans. The U crew.
The U crew. Mate.
They're good. They're good fun.
He's nearly got more fans than Avondale does.
Well, his boys follow him to every game, and they put on a show. They're beating on the advertising hoardings. They swap sides so that they can be on the same flank as him or behind the same goal that he's attacking. It's good fun.
Good fun. We've also got some women's news early in the show. So our women's team have been promoted to the VPL this year. Few weeks out from the season. The girls are looking for any new players who are interested in coming down to join the Knights. They train Tuesdays and Thursdays at Dobson Reserve at 6:30, and in particularly, they'd be looking for another keeper. So if you're a keeper or any girl who's interested in coming down to the Knights to have a bit of a kick with our girls and join our great club, come on down, make yourself known, and get in and around the club. Great time to be around, Josh.
Yeah, it's good level too. This new league is something that the women's ranks in Victoria sorely lacked, and promotion and relegation between the two is going to increase the standard of MPLW as well as this division. And I think it's really promoted some of the teams that have taken the women's football a little bit more seriously and tried to further it. Like the Knights, like Preston, like a few other teams of that ilk that are really starting to put resources behind it and try and make it grow. With the World Cup coming, there's no better time to start playing.
That's a big thing with the Women's World Cup coming up. It's a great time to get involved in women's football if you're interested. So come on down to the Knights. We'd be more than happy to have you.
Yeah, look, I think 2 years is a little bit late to be starting your run at selection, but in terms of the whole women's game growing, it's a sensational time to be involved.
Look, mate, you never know. Dennis Rodman started playing basketball at 25. He ended up winning a few rings. Stranger things have happened, mate.
Fair.
Also, our under-19s and 21s, we've got a quick wrap-up of that from the weekend. So under-19s had a hard-fought draw on Sunday with table toppers Avondale. After going down 1-0, Knights showed some character to work back into the game and matched the league leaders. Second half remained balanced with both teams having chances, but it was Emin Alatovic's equalising from captain Luke Fuck that squared the game up. Despite the drop point, the number 19s drop into 8th in a congested table. So well done to them for pinching a result on the weekend.
Yeah, sounds a bit like the seniors.
And shout out to Emin Alatovic. His name's been coming up a fair bit over the last few weeks.
Nice.
He doesn't mind getting on the score sheet, the young bloke.
Yeah, it's good to see. And keep knocking on the door, because the Knights these days, if you're good enough, you're old enough.
Yeah, it's always been the case at the Knights. Viduka played his first game at 16, mate.
Exactly.
You're old enough if you're good enough if you're old enough, or old enough if you're good enough, rather.
There you go.
Bit of a tongue twister there.
You've confused me now. Move on.
I've confused myself, if I'm honest. The under-21s had a disappointing 3-1 loss to Avondale in the curtain raiser to the senior game on Sunday. Having controlled large parts of the first half and creating numerous chances, Avondale went 1-0 up after some sloppy defending. Second half was a much more open affair, with Knights conceding another 2 goals in quick concessions due to lapses in concentration. Felipe Sanchez scored a late penalty after a mazy run, but it was too little too late in the end. The under-21s moved to 5th on the table. So, look, unlucky for the 21s on the weekend, but nice to see Felipe popping up.
Yeah, always. And I
You've got
have strong feelings about Felipe. So, I'm biased, but he's a good little player.
He's a great little player. All right, guys, we're going to go to a short break. And when we get back, we'll go around the grounds and review our game on the weekend.
Roof racks, bull bars, camping gear, fridges, car care products. Have we got your attention? With over 20,000 products available online globally, Vehicle Accessories has every vehicle accessory you can think of and more. Conveniently browse through our catalogue by specific car model or overall category. Get up to 15% off store-wide by using the code FNR at checkout. Head to vehicle-accessories.com.au. That's vehicle-accessories.com.au.
Are you looking to raise money for your community club or charitable organisation? Club Fundraising is an Australian family-run business, and we pride ourselves in creating partnerships with clubs, helping build stronger communities. Our free online platform provides everything you need for a successful campaign. With a step-by-step interface and best-in-class payment options, Club Fundraising makes it easy for clubs and contributors alike. Revolutionise the way you fundraise. Start your free campaign today. Head to clubfundraising.com.au. That's clubfundraising.com.au. The Night Train is brought to you by St Andrew's Hotel, 128 Nicholson Street, Fitzroy. Beautifully crafted, cosy and intimate spaces for your drinking and dining experiences.
And welcome back, Knights fans. Now, Josh, we're going to reintroduce something that was a staple of the show a couple of years ago. The quiz is back this week.
Hello.
Hello. So, the quiz question for this week. In Melbourne Knights' 2-1 win over Heidelberg. Well, I've just butchered the question, haven't I? We'll be back to you with a question later on in the show.
Have you just given away the answer?
I've
in the
just
question?
given away the answer, haven't I?
Oh no!
Oh, actually,
dear,
no.
All right,
no,
you're gonna come.
I can rejig the question.
Audible.
So the 2015 2-1 win over Heidelberg. What round was that game held? Now the text number is 0428 933 345. But as always with the show, we will accept answers off the Facebook messages, off the YouTube comments, and through the text message. But if you do call in on 9944 9999, you do have priority. So the incentive is to call in. But, so question again, in the 2015 2-1 win over Heidelberg, what round was that game played in?
Nicely done.
Nicely done. Good save. Good save there. All right, Josh, let's go around the grounds. So Friday night's fixture saw Oakley take on Green Gully at home, and a pretty good 2-1 win, 2-0 win for Oakley.
Yeah, it was pretty straightforward in the end.
Yeah.
I was a little disappointed that Gully didn't put up more of a fight, but Oakley seemed to be finding their form after a little bit of a shaky start to the season. It hasn't been too bad, but you know they haven't hit their straps the way we expected, given the level of talent in that squad is unbelievable. And it was Tyson Holmes who really ran the show, got the opening goal. Green Gully, I think, really missed Jay Davies with suspension. He's got like 5 weeks or something for that horror challenge.
He's going to be a big out for them over the next couple of weeks.
Huge. I was pretty impressed with young Nick Georgopoulos.
He had a good game.
Usually am. He was astonishing in the round 5 fixture last year, which is as far as we got in the NPL Victoria season, but he absolutely ran the show. Wasn't quite as dominant this time, but he looks like quite a player. But Oakley were very, very, very comfortable. Like they just held them at arm's length the rest of the match. It was just a couple of early goals, and then basically just sit off, absorb pressure, hit on the counter attack, and they could have scored 2 or 3 more.
Yeah, really. Look, I was a bit disappointed by Gully. I actually backed them to win on.
So did I.
I had them picked to win on Friday night. I think they're going to be one of the teams to beat in the comp this year, but just a real lackluster performance on Friday.
Yeah, look, Jay Davies is a big out. I haven't seen anything of Matthew Fletcher this season. I don't know.
No, I'm not sure what's going on with him.
Ostensibly part of the squad, but I haven't even seen him on a bench, so maybe he's injured. Alex Salmon struggled to get into the game. He wasn't bad when he did get the ball, but he's just struggling to get the ball. They were fronting him with a defensive midfielder, and Oscar Dillon was basically following to the bathroom at half-time. So, he couldn't get an inch of space, and Oakley played it perfectly. I thought the midfield selection was a little bit unbalanced. They tried to play Polyak as a number 10 with Georgopoulos and Luke Jego in behind, and it didn't seem to have that kind of midfield general to run the show. A lot of technical attacking midfield players with nobody who was really putting their foot on the ball or putting in a challenge, and they really looked a bit lightweight in that area of the park, and that's not somewhere you want to be thin when you're coming up against Joe Guest, who was really good. So, and also they rested Daniel Jones. He's 37 now, so fair enough, but they played Kyo de Godoy at centre back for his debut, and I thought he looked a bit ropey. There was a lot of space between him and the left back on the left side of that back four, and Joe Guest kept running into that pocket every time, and that's how they created the first goal. And a lot of things for Gully to work on. still think it's a talented side, but just
definitely.
maybe lacking a little bit of leadership with Jones on the bench and Jay Davies out.
Yeah, St Albans Eastern Lions played out a 1-1 draw at Churchill Reserve.
Yes, it was.
Mate.
No tree in the way this time.
No tree in the way this time,
Just
thank
a
God.
big pole.
Just a big pole.
You can't seem to get an unobstructed view this season.
Only at Knight Stadium.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah, well, even the Avondale game, well, there was, if you look at the highlights, there's actually somebody's hand that comes across during one of the chances. I think that might have been Dimmy, the ground announcer, gesticulating. But anyway.
Well, look, with the St Albans game, Eastern Lions, just want to give them a quick little pump up because I think most of the league sort of tipped them to be real bottom feeders this year, and their form across the last couple of weeks has been phenomenal, really. They've pinched some big results over the last few weeks. And even in this game against St Albans over the weekend, they had probably 50 to 60 minutes where they were the better team out of the two.
Yeah, it's been a tough off-season for them, as everybody knows, on and off the park. And, they've only got one Drutz's twin, it seems. Only one of them is fit at any one time. One of them's always doing a knee, which is a big shame. But they've got a lot of character in that squad. What they make, what they don't have in talent, they make up for in sort of grit and determination and a real togetherness, which comes from the team that was promoted from NPL2 basically staying the same and not just littering the side with expensive new signings, because they're operating with like a third, a fourth, maybe a sixth of the budget of some of the teams in this division. So it's a credit to them that they're actually getting results. And I quite like that club. It's a nice vibe when you go down there. Look, the gardening could use a bit of work, as we know, but apart from that, they focus on juniors. They don't splash all of their money on the senior team.
And you got to respect that.
club.
Just like go buy a whippersnipper and maybe a small chainsaw.
Yeah, exactly. That's basically the only constructive feedback we have for the Eastern Lions. They're doing very well with what they have.
Yeah, good on them. And Altona with a 4-1 hammering by South Melbourne. Now, look,
I was predicting a 0-0 draw in this game. I thought it was going to be...
I picked the draw as well, but again, Altona went up early through a deflection. Keeper a bit unlucky there, got wrong-footed, ball really blasted off the back of a defender. But South Melbourne then go score a set piece, win a penalty, and then really just rip them apart in the second half.
Altona is a club where morale is at an all-time low, I think. There's a serious problem there.
Rumours of an under-14s coach being a caretaker senior coach aren't great.
It's a shambles. They haven't found a replacement for Jonesy, despite going through the entire Rolodex and calling everybody they know.
I think they've called everyone from potentially our technical director to Ernie Merrick.
Yeah. Amazing. But... I'm sure with, as Josip's mentioning, the transfer window comes up in round 8. So I would imagine, knowing Igor Georgievsky, he's dipping into the budget there. If he can't find himself a head coach, he's going to find himself some shiny new players to see him through the rest of the season. So I imagine you'll see some changes there in the player point system and whatever permitting.
Yeah, Dandy Thunder and Port Melbourne also played out a 1-1 draw. Hume with a 2-0 win over Bentley with a slightly controversial second goal.
Yeah, I didn't catch that one. Was it Mitch Cooper's?
No, so Delich's the second. Delich's.
That was the first goal, actually.
That was the first one.
Yeah, that was. I know what you mean now. The contested header with the keeper seemed to have two hands on the ball.
Dragged him down and didn't really know what was going on there. And the referee, being 5 metres behind the play, not calling something, was a little bit interesting for me.
Yeah, I think Hume with a better side and probably deserved it on balance, but that's a rough call. The Bentley keeper made one unbelievable save in that game, and he's a good goalkeeper. Is it the Spanish guy they still got?
I believe so. Yes.
Javi something.
Javi something. Right?
Yeah. But he's not the tallest goalkeeper, and you expect to have the protection of the referee when you're coming out to claim crosses, especially when you don't have a foot on everybody else. And that was very stiff. Very stiff.
Interesting call. And our opponents for this week, Heidelberg United, with a 2-1 win over Dandy City, and bang a goal in that game as well, Josh.
They came out fit and firing. The way that they've rigged the new commentary position at Olympic Village leaves a lot to be desired.
Yeah, look,
and
you'd
even the
think
stand.
You'd think, given the fact that they just, done a few upgrades on the facility, they could have done something better with the benches than obstructing half the view for anyone watching on the stream.
Yeah, not ideal, but it's a nice new playing surface there at least, and they're playing some nice stuff. Look, Heidelberg proving most people wrong this season, as Katsakis usually does whenever he's doubted. So.
Oh, look, I tipped them to be in the top half of the league this year.
Yeah.
They're normally up there, and given the sort of nature of the club and what they've been about over the last really 5 to 10 years in the top division, they've never really bottomed out. So it's going to be a tough out for us this week.
Yeah, it's match of the round, I would say, again.
Oh, look, I think Knights are going to have a few of those this year, given that we're top of the league still. And now coming into the big one from the weekend, Melbourne Knights 1-1 draw with Avondale. Josh, you commentated the game. I was lucky enough to be there in attendance, no stream obstructions for myself. Mate, what a game of football.
Sensational, high quality, two sides with really positive attacking philosophies, but also disciplined pressing and defensive structures. And that's what we saw in the first half, with two sides that were really, really compact and really, really disciplined, particularly the Knights. That press was unbelievable and really stifled Avondale playing, and that's no mean feat with the talent that they've got. So it was an engaging kind of chess match in the first half.
Yeah, definitely.
And then in the second, it really opened up. There were spaces for both sides. Avondale were getting in behind a bit more because maybe the Knights press, you just a little bit of fatigue. You don't have so much pressure on the ball, and then they were able to go over the top to Ahmed and Valentini quite a few times. And Tom Manos did terrifically well. So many good last-ditch challenges to keep it at 0-0. Vetslut, Bryce, Marth, you name it.
Mate, the back four,
they were unbelievable.
The back lines from both teams had outstanding games, and that goes to show both goals in the game popped up in the 87th and the 93rd minute.
Yeah,
and that's not to say both teams weren't attacking. Both, as you can see on the highlights going over your screen now, it was end-to-end football for basically 90 minutes. It was really just defenders making clutch tackles when they needed to stop opportunities.
Yeah, or goalkeepers coming out. I'm so impressed with Manos, the way he comes off his line so quickly.
Yeah.
He was smothering so many potential one-on-ones and, even coming up big when Valentini tried to go round him or making it difficult when he was nearly lobbed.
Yeah.
Valentini had to go really high with that lob and it cleared the crossbar as well. So he kind of forced that miss. And then eventually, finally, I think it was Dylan Jakupi got a bit of space on the ball to play it over the top to Yusuf Ahmed, and he runs in behind, and one of his trademark unbelievable powerful finishes at the near post. Scored the exact same goal in the grand final 2 years ago.
Yeah, mate, look, I couldn't believe how hard he hit that. That was not really much a keeper's going to do about that from that sort of range.
No way. I mean, watch out for your near post when Yusuf Ahmed's around. But even then, he was right into the rifle into the roof of the net.
Roof of the net, mate. It was unbelievable, and he really is. I think again, he's going to be one of the players to watch this season.
And the chance that Liam Boland missed, I was really blown away by it. Bobbled a little bit, but my goodness.
Oh, look, mate, maybe you need to drop him back to State League 1. Let him get used to the bobble again before we bring him back up.
He's not in good nick at the moment.
No,
he's in his own head a bit. And I think the Knights defenders recognise that.
Yeah, definitely. And look, if I'm honest, he was probably one player that had me nervous coming into the game because normally when he's out of form, he tends to find form against us. But I think that's more of a credit to our back four, especially Bryson's Vetslut, who were marking him in terms of the job they did on keeping him quiet. Because he's a player, you give him half a chance, probably 7 times out of 10 he's scoring. And the fact that you limited to him really to one sort of half chance that he had that bobbled up and over, credit to our back four, mate.
Yeah, they just kept it off his left foot every single time. And the avenue for the Knights became late in the game, just down the right-hand side with the crosses. Mosu Mayora almost got the equaliser. Avondale went defensive and they brought on an extra big centre-back in Matt Reid. And the Knights did it again. I mean, a sensational cross from Petrov, I think it was.
Yeah, it was. He was immense when he came on, really, for me. Look, it's hard for a fullback to potentially change a game, but I really think him coming on there on that right-hand side made such a big difference in that, especially the last sort of 10 minutes or so of the game. Mate, great ball, and Mikulich steps up again with an absolute belter of a header.
That was fantastic. The way he had to adjust himself in the air to get on the end of that one was crazy.
But look, again, this goes out to again, the strength of the squad this year, we've had so many different players score. And again, now it's Caleb, one of our own, who's come out and 3 goals in 3 weeks. The bloke's finding form, mate. He's been one of our better players the last couple of games.
Absolutely. The movement off the ball and the way he finds space in the penalty area has been fantastic to watch. I mean, the Knights, I don't know if you'd call it a 4-2-3-1 or a 4-4-2, the way they're lining up. Mikulich is getting really high and supporting Webb. And the way that those two work together, it means that one of them can actually drop out wide and double up on defenders and create overlaps. And that's what Webb was doing really effectively late in the game. And it actually came immediately before the cross from Petrov as a really good run by Webb down the right-hand side, a striker dropping out to the wing to create overloads and problems for the defence. And then Mikulich was the target in the centre. And, unbelievable cross, fantastic header. Amazing goal. And just a testament to the resilience of this team.
Yeah, definitely. And look, mate, just speaking from someone who happened to... You were at the ground, you can probably attest to this a bit more than I could, but... What was the roar like after that equaliser?
It was nuts. Went fantastic. And then I had some old guy at the bottom of the scaffold yelling at me and Nick DeBarno commentating, who scored the goal? Who scored the goal for Knights? And we're like putting our mics over here and going, Mikulich, 11, Mikulich. He was like, thank you.
Oh, look, mate, the Knights fans came out in droves again. And, look, really, I think if you look at the game as a whole, it was probably a fair result in the end, the 1-1 for me. Look, Avondale had their chances. We had our chances throughout the game. Really, I think Mo probably should be scoring that one he got.
Yeah.
But again, Boland had that half chance that bobbled up,
It's fine margins, that game.
Very, very fine margins, and I think that's how it's going to be with these teams sort of in the top half of the table, especially us and Avondale. I think we're both genuine candidates for that sort of top 3, top 4, top 5 sort of teams.
For me, it's Knights, Avondale, Oakley, and maybe Heidelberg, maybe. I'm not sure about them yet. I think I'll wait for them to play against some of the best teams yet, but they've got a resilience about them as well. Maybe not as much quality as the other 3, but... Knights, Avondale, Oakley as the title contenders.
And look, Josh, it's like we said on the show a couple of weeks ago. These next sort of 4 or 5 games are really going to dictate how the year's going to go after the loss to St Albans. You come back out the week after, you bounce back with a 3-0 win at home, and then you go to Avenger Park and take a point. Now, that's a tough place to travel to for most teams on the park. Avondale is a really tough team to break down. And for us to come away with a point, I think, again, shows the resilience of the squad and generally that we're playing fairly good football.
Yeah. The coaching is what impresses me most, to be honest. Obviously, the recruitment's been really good, but the plan has come together seamlessly.
And to come together this early in the season as well.
That's amazing. The discipline and the structure of the press. I was talking a little bit to Zoran Markovsky after the game. He usually comes around for a chat, win, lose or draw. He's a good bloke, and he was full of praise for the organisation of the Knights side.
Yeah, well, look, definitely. And I think that from some people who might not know Steve and his sort of ethos as a coach, him getting the appointment at Knights for the season, I think a few people might have been going sort of where'd that come from. That might have come a bit out of left field, but the club's clearly seen something in him. He's a phenomenal coach, and I think everyone now across the league is really starting to see and appreciate exactly the job he's done so far.
Yeah, the fact that the lineup's been like so consistent, and he's only made minor tweaks where things weren't going right. The move for Zvetslut back to centre back came relatively early, and I think that was a really shrewd one.
Yeah,
he was fantastic on the weekend.
Oh, he was immense.
And there's been very few other deviations from the preseason plan, and I think the consistency of selection and of system means that the players have come to grips with it very, very quickly. And it means that he had a really clear idea in mind for what he wanted to do with this squad. It's coming off to perfection at the moment. You know, the only thing I'd say is maybe it'd be helpful to have a few more attacking options off the bench. It's something I mentioned last week. But even then, you know, he brought defenders on and they made attacking contributions.
Yeah.
So you can't really argue with it. You know, bring on a right back. I was thinking, is that going to change the game? Well, he got the assist, so it shows what I know.
Well, really, even you look across everyone on the weekend. Petrov, I think, was for me the big standout. He came on. And also, just a quick shout out, there was rumours going around that there was a potential broken nose on the weekend off the park. Ball split out into the fans. And
I did see that.
You did see that?
No, that was horrible. It was point blank range. I didn't realise it was a broken nose. I thought it was in the guts.
No, up on the face. So
that's horrible.
to the poor fan who copped that one. Unlucky. Maybe next time pay a bit more attention to the game, I suppose.
Well, look, it's the hazards of being that close to the action.
And that's what you want. You want to be right on top of it. But look, just to go over it again, mate, it was absolutely phenomenal game. Thanks to all the Knights supporters who came out in droves again. Josh, we've got the best fans in the league, mate.
I don't think it's much of a question. We've got heaps of comments coming through. It's fantastic, the interaction. Cash says, good game, but Avondale should have won as a Knights supporter. Well, I think it was a really close run thing. My inclination would have been that Avondale maybe won the technical battle in the end, in the second half, but Knights won the mental duel up here. And that's the reason why they nabbed a point. If you looked at the shooting opportunities and if we had XG for MPL, Avondale's would have been higher, but this Knights group has something about them, and they stayed in the game until the very, very final moments. And it wasn't just due to Avondale's profligacy in front of goal that happened.
Nah, look, there's definitely, you can feel there's a different sort of resilience about the squad this year. Not in just in how they play, the structure, the setup, everything. There's compared to the last couple of seasons, there's a real different vibe around the team this year, and it's been an absolute pleasure to watch so far.
James reckons was hoping that the Knights get the same dodgy offside calls in our favour in the return fixture at Summer Street. There was one chance with Ahmed where I think it was actually before the Boland chance. Yeah. It was the ball over the top to Ahmed. And it may have been Giselle coming back and the rest of the defence didn't realise. That must have been what the assistant called, because it totally caught me off guard in commentary. You can actually hear Nick, my co-commentator, go, "Is he offside? What? Is he on? What?" It's the guy as Yusuf Ahmed's running through on goal. That was nuts. It may have been one of those, look, without proper replays, we can't tell because the camera's panning from left to right, so you can't really tell. But maybe it was one of those perfect ones where somebody's running at full speed in both directions, but it did look suspicious.
Oh, look, cool. I mean, I didn't see it from where I was standing. Yeah. He looked offside. Yeah. But again, I've got my Knights tinted glasses on. He's offside every time. So
yeah, exactly.
Look, we'll take, when it goes your way, you take it. When it doesn't, you complain, and that's the nature of football.
Exactly. No VAR in MPL, and that's probably a good thing, to be honest.
Oh, definitely a good thing, mate. So just a quick recap of the table. Melbourne Knights top of the league on 10 points. South Melbourne second on 9 points. And then Avondale, Oakley, Heidelberg, Hume and St Albans all tied on 8 points. Green Gully and Bentley Greens tied on 7. Dandy Thunder on 5 points. Port Melbourne on 5 points. Eastern Lions 5. Altona Magic 3. And Dandy City with a solitary point. All right, guys, we're going to go for a quick break, and when we come back, we'll be previewing the Heidelberg fixture this Wednesday, the Cup game against Old Scotch on Saturday, and hopefully we've got a prize winner to announce.
Whether you're a land developer, in local government, or a service authority, Lenco Group will help you get your job done on time and in a cost-effective manner. Lenco Group provides superior civil engineering and advisory services by creating, communicating and delivering sustainable, efficient solutions. For all your infrastructure requirements associated with residential, commercial or industrial development projects, visit our website lencogroup.com.au or give us a call today on 1300 152 626.
Are you looking to raise money for your community club or charitable organisation? Club fundraising is an Australian family-run business, and we pride ourselves in creating partnerships with clubs, helping build stronger communities. Our free online platform provides everything you need for a successful campaign. With a step-by-step interface and best-in-class payment options, Club Fundraising makes it easy for clubs and contributors alike. Revolutionise the way you fundraise. Start your free campaign today. Head to clubfundraising.com.au. That's clubfundraising.com.au.
Roof racks, bull bars, camping gear, fridges, car care products. Have we got your attention? With over 20,000 products available online globally, Vehicle Accessories has every vehicle accessory you can think of and more. Conveniently browse through our catalogue by specific car model or overall category. Get up to 15% off store-wide by using the code FNR at checkout. Head to vehicle-accessories.com.au. That's vehicle-accessories.com.au.
The Night Train is brought to you by St Andrew's Hotel, 128 Nicholson Street, Fitzroy. Beautifully crafted, cosy and intimate spaces for your drinking and dining experiences.
And welcome back, Knights fans. Now, just because we haven't yet, we'll give a quick shout out to all of our major club sponsors: I&D Group, Melbourne Croatia Soccer Club, Living Gems Lifestyle Resorts, the Australian Croatian Clubs of Melbourne and Geelong, Empire Global, and the show sponsor, St Andrew's Hotel. Now, we haven't had a text yet in for the question asked at the start of the show, which was, in the 2-1 win in 2015 over Heidelberg United, what round was that fixture played in? Now, the prize this week will be a $50 St Andrews voucher, dinner voucher. Thanks to Tony again for being a supporter of the show and the club. So, we haven't had an answer come in yet. So, jump on the text line, which is 0428 933 345. You can comment on Facebook, comment on YouTube, but priority will be given to a caller. So the talkback number is 9944 9999. Now, Josh, massive week of football coming up for the Knights. We've got a massive game against Heidelberg United at home on Wednesday night, and then Magic of the Cup begins on Saturday.
Yeah, and the FFA Cup is a competition the Knights have traditionally done pretty well in, as well as the Doherty Cup. Obviously, they're kind of the same thing. And I'm looking forward to seeing this round because, look, there's a couple of games I've got my eye on for big upsets. The big one I'm looking at is Bentley Green's Essendon Royals. I like the look of in terms of like the David versus Goliath, NPL versus State League games. I like the look of Essendon Royals in that one. Even with what's going on off the park for them with their council trying to screw them over, they've still got a very good group of players, including Davey Van Skip and Matteo Balan and all these big names. Christian Constantinides is in the back line, and Vitali Ferrante is coach. I think they might knock off Bentley. I don't know if you've got a pick of the other games. I'm assuming Knights will take Scotch to the Cleaners as I'm hoping.
I'm pretty confident that we will. And look, I think that game especially is going to be a good chance Easter weekend for maybe some of the boys in the senior squad who haven't had much of a run out yet to really get a good hit out going for the weekend. So, and look, that game's at 1:00 at Old Scotch College. So if you're around for Easter weekend, head down and support the boys. Massive game. Cup starting up, and we've got our next round 6 with Heidelberg at home.
Yeah.
Absolutely massive game for us.
But first, I think we've got a talkback
Got a talkback caller.
Hello, you're on the air.
Hello. So, do you have an answer for the trivia question?
Is it round 23?
It definitely is round 23. Congratulations. Can we get your name, mate?
Max Konak.
Max Konak. Well, Maxie, well done, mate. You've got the $50 voucher. We'll get in touch with you after the show to get your details and pass that on. Now, just a quick question while we've got you on the phone. How do you think the Knights are going to go this Wednesday night?
I think we're going to win 2-0.
2-0. I reckon that's a pretty good call, Josh.
I like it. 2-0 is, it's reserved, but it's positive.
Definitely
Very
positive.
good.
Now, Maxie, do you play soccer?
Yes.
Who do you play for?
Melbourne Knights.
Oh, what under do you play, Maxie?
Under 10s.
Under 10s. Well done, mate. So, Maxie, thanks for the call up. We'll get your details after the show. Just make sure you don't take your mum and dad with you. Make them pay for themselves when you go out for dinner, mate.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, mate.
All right, celebratory music for Maxie. Oh, never mind. My playback system's crashed. There we go. Pause.
Oh, there we go. There we go.
I knew I had something somewhere.
So, well done, Maxie, for the call up. So, if you're planning on texting in, that's why you call in.
Exactly. First preference.
First preference. But getting back to the game against Heidelberg this weekend, I think it's this Wednesday, not this weekend. Force of habit. Given our run the last couple of weeks and our start to the season, this is another game that really the squad's got to put their foot down and really show what they're about in terms of a finals push. You know, we've traditionally in the last probably 5-6 years, we haven't had the best runs of form against Heidelberg. But this is a good opportunity to get a good result and really push us up that table.
Well, against Heidelberg this season, it's never over till it's over. They came back from the dead against Green Gully. They did it against Altona. They've got a resilient mentality as a George Katsakis side usually does.
Yeah, definitely.
I think they've, forgive me if I'm wrong, but I think they've lost their big Canadian centre half to injury. I'm not sure if he played on the weekend, but he certainly was out the previous round. But, still a solid back line with the likes of, the veterans like Darnay Milovanovic and Alex Castillejo coming over from Perth. Josh Wilkins is a very good player, so they're always going to be good defensively. And there's just recently, they've had Owen Ashton come into the first team and score 2 cracker goals against Dandenong City. So
the first one especially was an absolute peach.
That was fabulous. He's got good pedigree as well. I'm pretty sure he's played in the conference in England, so he comes from good stock. And they started with Justin McAuliffe playing as a right back, and he's since moved into the attack and he can't stop scoring goals. So
moving back to right back, please.
Yeah, that's the message there. That was only a temporary measure while Josh Wilkins was out with injury, I believe. They've rotated the squad quite a bit. I wouldn't say there's like one nailed on starting 11. The likes of Takeru Okada and Dusan Bosniak have come in and out of the lineup. So it's going to be quite unpredictable, the team they're going to field.
Well, even young Nick Edish had a run out as keeper a couple of weeks back. He done a pretty good job.
Yeah, it's not bad. I mean, I quite like when Chris Theodorides plays because he's a penalty taker, and that's always a fun wrinkle.
That's definitely exciting.
Because you never quite know what's going to happen when a keeper takes a penalty, but hopefully it won't come to that. And the Knights, this is a home game, right?
Yeah, home game, Wednesday night, 7:30.
There you go. So I think that definitely gives the Knights the advantage. Nice big home deck to play on. Heidelberg were very hard to break down when I saw them against South playing on that tiny little Jack Edwards Reserve Oakley pitch where, there's not a lot of space to play. There's not a lot of width. No. It's quite claustrophobic and the games get very physical there, and that played into Heidelberg's hands, whereas the Knights at home will have space to spread their wings and spray the ball around from left to right with, likes of McGarry and Giselle. If they can get on the ball and dictate things, I'm definitely predicting a Knights win.
Oh, look, and our home ground this season, look, we've only played 2 home games, but
2 from 2.
2 from 2 and aggregate score of 5-1. Like, you'll take that, mate. Yeah. You'll take that. We had a great 2-1 win over Dandy Thunder and an emphatic 3-0 win over Hume. Knights are on the up and up this year, mate.
Yeah, I don't think there's even a question for, there's no reason why you wouldn't have optimism.
No, definitely not.
The way things are going.
Definitely not. So big shout for everyone to come down on Wednesday night. There's absolutely no reason you can't come to the game.
Well, unless you're commentating at Dandenong, but anyway.
Yeah, well, look,
that's my personal commitment. Unfortunately, they won't put me on the Summer Street games. I don't know why it is, but anyway.
Maybe they don't like you enough to put you in a closed room.
They want me out in the elements.
Out in the elements.
No, it's because I live in the eastern suburbs and they're trying to keep people in their postcodes.
Yeah, I suppose that's fair enough.
I don't mind the road trip. I'll have to get on the line to Zappers and tell them I want Summer Street next time.
Mate.
Anyway,
come on down to Knight Stadium. And look, the weather is supposed to be for Melbourne absolutely cracker weather on Wednesday night.
Yeah.
So all the more reason to come down and enjoy a great night of football.
We didn't know what we were going to get on the weekend. We had all 4 seasons in the space of 20 minutes before kickoff, and then the sun was out.
Then the sun was out, the sun was back, in and out throughout the whole game. It was really quite frustrating. I think I've seen people pulling their jumpers off about 50 times and putting them back on just about the same amount.
That's why you should go to the Knights merch store and stock up on every different layer of clothing.
Yeah, well,
you might need it.
Look, again, Josh, we've spoken about this many times, but I think we will again. You know, our winter merch will be getting released at some time over the next 3 to 4 weeks. So a bit of a teaser for you there. And shout out again to Jerome and Dan who organised all that. The merch looks cracker once again. So keep your eyes peeled for that stuff, Knights fans. Now, something was brought to my attention last week, Josh.
Mm-hmm.
The first couple of weeks, I did my 3-2-1s on the show for a potential radio award to the Radio Player of the Season. And I've missed a few weeks, mate.
Yeah, we haven't kept that theme going.
We haven't kept the theme going. So we're going to be bringing that back to you tonight. So just for a quick recap, round 1, I had Tom Manos with 3 votes, Mo with 2 votes, and Aidan Bryce picking up the 1. And on the second episode, after our 2-1 win over Dandy Thunder, Webby with the 3, McGarry with 2, and Giselle with the 1. So now let's take a bit of a dive back over the last 3 weeks and hand out our scores, Josh. So
I'm playing some highlights from previous rounds just to refresh people's memories as to what the hell happened in those games.
Just to keep you updated on how we've started the season. So for the round 3 game against St Albans, I gave Trevor Zwetsloot the 3. Yeah. I gave Mikulich the 2 because I thought he scored a great goal and, really gave us a chance to get back into the game. And I gave young Jack Marth the 1 in that. I thought he played really, really well. I think he's been a standout player for us this year as a young bloke coming into the senior squad, Joshy.
Oh, 100%. He's been absolutely terrific. We've spoken about him before. I've, in my very humble football career, been put in all sorts of positions, and the one I really hated was playing left back as a right footer.
Yeah.
And he's taken to that so naturally. And the way he makes physical challenges on players that are like twice his size and doesn't shirk from anything and comes up with last-ditch interventions. His recovery pace is terrific. He's got a lot of tools to be a really, really good defender. I don't know what position he'll end up playing, whether it's left back, right back, maybe centre back once he fills out a little bit. But he's a quality player.
He's going to be a quality player for the Knights this year. And just on that, so going up to round 4 now, the 3-0 win at home to Hume. I've given John Albano the 3 for the week. I thought his goal was wonderful, but on top of that, I think he made a couple of good runs. I'm pretty sure he teed up Webby that week as well for his. He had an absolutely outstanding game, and he's going to be another player that we're going to rely on pretty heavily if we're going to be making a push into the finals this year, Josh.
100%. So what are your votes here?
Votes. So for that week, I've got Albano with 3, Webb with 2, and Zwetsloot with the 1. I thought he was absolutely quality at centre-back that week in terms of denying Bingham. He'd done a pretty good job marking him.
I think you've been harsh on Gaz there.
A little bit. Gaz, I think for me, that game, I think he had a much better game against Andy.
Yeah, okay. All right. Maybe I've been duped by watching, extended highlights back and not being there in person.
Look, Gaz for me is a quality player. He's always going to be up there in and around the votes, but I don't know, that week, for me, even looking back over the footage, I rewatched the game on the weekend. I think Trevor did an amazing job keeping Bingham quiet. And look, mate, I could watch that Webb goal all week.
Yeah.
It's
amazing.
What a player. And for the game on the weekend, I'm going to give Bryce the 3. I thought his leadership down back in terms of really putting his authority on the game as a captain and keeping that back four tight, keeping Boland quiet, and keeping us really in the game up until the last sort of 10 minutes where Avondale did eventually break through. I thought he was absolutely immense on the weekend.
Yeah, he was amazing. Just the leadership that was going on in between plays, you just watch the way he was communicating and, getting into the opposition striker's head if he needed to as well. I think that was absolutely crucial in the way the Knights held out for so long in that fixture. And You could have given it to any member of the back four, but
definitely.
Brycey with the armband and with especially some of the interventions he came up with in like last-ditch tackles and so forth.
Massive.
Is good shout.
Massive. I've gone for Caleb Mikulich for the 2 votes. Again, we're going to reiterate, he scored 3 goals in 3 weeks. He's been our standout striker the last couple of weeks. And again, I think his presence up front, not even just for the goal, I think if you watch him more closely as he plays, what he does in terms of sacrificing potentially his position sometimes to get to a ball to make room for other players on the pitch is something that doesn't really get talked about enough. And he's not the only one in the team that does it, but given his performance on the weekend, I really wanted to bring it up. Absolutely belter of a header, but his work off the ball and what he does to bring other players into the game, I don't think is something that gets brought up enough with him.
Yeah, and it's a good week to give him the points because his header was absolutely unbelievable.
Oh, mate, absolute belter. And I've gone with Trevor Zwetsloot for the 1 because I think him and Bryce next to each other as a centre-back pairing were absolutely immense in keeping Avondale as quiet as we managed to keep them. I mean, you're never going to stop them from getting at least a couple of chances throughout the game, but I thought especially them two as a centre-back pairing were absolutely immense over the weekend.
Yeah. I agree. There's a common theme with Vatsford is he keeps appearing in your sort of 2s and 1s, so he's been so consistent.
He's consistent, mate. Look, and again, it's hard to sort of get the 3 votes as a centre-back unless you're coming up, you're scoring a goal or you've really completely shut them out. But to me, Trevor, he's been one of our biggest pickups in the off-season in what he's been able to personally bring into the team. And I think his move to centre-back by Bebic after Nikola got sent off in that first game was instrumental in how our forms managed to carry on into the first few weeks of the season.
Yeah, I definitely agree. He's very calm presence back there. He's good in a tackle. He's got that physical presence about him, but he sprays the ball around like a midfielder, which he also is.
Yeah, so. And look, that's the other thing with him. He provides you that flexibility that if you need someone like him to step into the midfield, you've got that option with him. To me, he's an absolutely great pickup, and he's going to be a fair shout for one of our players of the season, I think.
Have you got standings? Am I putting you on the spot here?
I've got our top 3 so far. So we've got Aidan Bryce. We've got Webby is leading the race so far with 5 points. Bryce with 4 and Trevor Zwetsloot with 3. Now we will keep an updated thing going up for you. That will be up in the next couple of weeks. We'll have a running sort of thing going on the show.
Are we naming this award?
We don't have a name for it just yet.
We're waiting for a naming rights sponsor.
Naming rights sponsor. If anyone does want to jump off, anyone's listening in and thinks that's my sort of thing, I'll jump on the radio. We will give that to you. But
maybe a snack food company.
Shout out to my mate Parshall with the comments. I'm sure Sack Tom Lukic is one of the comments flying around. That's been a staple of the show since it started.
Yep.
But yeah, look. So that will be something we'll be continuing across the year. And thank you for everyone who brought that up, that I didn't keep going with it, because I think it's a great idea as a segment for the show, Josh.
Well, it's up to you guys to keep us on our toes.
Yeah.
If there's nobody keeping us accountable, then we may as well not do the show at all.
No, well, look, any feedback is good feedback, mate.
Yeah, exactly. You can abuse us in the Facebook Live comments. It boosts the metrics, so we don't care.
Look, just get involved. We're always happy to have everyone involved. And look, guys, we're going to go for a quick break and then we're going to wrap up the show when we come back in.
Roof racks, bull bars, camping gear, fridges, car care products. Have we got your attention? With over 20,000 products available online globally, Vehicle Accessories has every vehicle accessory you can think of and more. Conveniently browse through our catalogue by specific car model or overall category. Get up to 15% off store-wide by using the code FNR at checkout. Head to vehicle-accessories.com.au. That's vehicle-accessories.com.au.
Are you looking to raise money for your community club or charitable organisation? Club Fundraising is an Australian family-run business, and we pride ourselves in creating partnerships with clubs, helping build stronger communities. Our free online platform provides everything you need for a successful campaign. With a step-by-step interface and best-in-class payment options, Club Fundraising makes it easy for clubs and contributors alike. Revolutionise the way you fundraise. Start your free campaign today. Head to clubfundraising.com.au. That's clubfundraising.com.au.
Whether you're a land developer, in local government or a service authority, Lenco Group will help you get your job done on time and in a cost-effective manner. Lenco Group provides superior civil engineering and advisory services by creating, communicating and delivering sustainable, efficient solutions. For all your infrastructure requirements associated with residential, commercial or industrial development projects, visit our website lencogroup.com.au or give us a call today on 1300 152 626.
And welcome back, Knights fans. So, just to wrap up for tonight, absolutely massive week of football coming up. We've got the massive game against Heidelberg this Wednesday. We've got the Cup game this Saturday at 1 o'clock. And then, look, guys, we're going to be having a break next week, given that it's Easter Monday. So, there's going to be a week off in between shows. So, we'll catch you the following Monday. But, absolutely massive week of football, Josh.
Yeah, it's huge. Midweek round, FFA Cup. And, you know, I'll be happy if Wednesday's fixtures result in as many goals as we saw at Georgie's on Friday night.
Oh, look, we'd be remiss not to give a shout out to Preston. Look, I don't know if everyone's seen it. I'm sure most of the Croatians would have heard the result given who they played, but Preston Macedonia had a 10-0 win on the weekend against Springvale White Eagles.
It was pretty funny.
Look, I watched the highlights the next day in bed on Saturday morning, and it took about 25 minutes.
And that was just goals. There was no other chances.
It was literally just goals. And look, Preston's on the up and up. It'd be great to see them back in the league. Another traditional club on the up and up. And, mate, again, I think they had about 2,500 people at the game on Friday night.
It's going off. I mean, the home game against City had like 3,500. It's going to go off again against Victory this Friday night at BT Connor. And some of those finishes in that game were unbelievable.
Quality.
It was just
absolute quality. Everybody
was hitting bangers from outside the box. You know, Chris Davies scored one of the craziest goals I've ever seen. He headed it into the air, like this crossfield aerial ball. He headed it into the air and then slammed the volley into the roof of the net. And then he gave it the big Vince Carter "it's over" celebration afterwards, because that was, I think, 9-0.
Oh, look, when it gets to 9-0, well, even 7 or 8-0, really, you can start getting inventive about how you want to score.
Well, his first celebration was like, I think it was like 2 or 3-0, and he did the flopping dead fish thing. So he's really pulling out all the stops this season.
Oh, look, I hope someone signs him in the NPL. We really need a bit more of that level of shithousery going on in the league. It'd be lovely.
He's hilarious. He's such a pro, and he's such a mate. As he said. Look, and they were just smashing goals in from left, right, and centre. Springvale didn't know what hit them, and I think that's going to happen to a couple of sides in NPL 3. They were a little disappointed with the restructure because it meant they got promoted, but they stayed at the same level, kind of. But you know, against some of those NPL 3 sides, they're going to rack up some score lines, and I think they're a decent shout for a double promotion.
Oh, look, let's hope so. It'd be lovely to have Preston back in the league. But again, the big one this week, massive game Wednesday night, 7:30. Everyone come on down. Come support the boys. It's going to be a massive game before the Easter weekend.
Well, if you guys were cheering on Preston on Friday night, Preston fans will be cheering on you on Wednesday night against Heidelberg.
We sure hope so. We sure hope so. Josh, I'm going to get a score prediction for you.
I like the young boy phoned up. I like where he was thinking.
2-0?
I'm thinking 2-0.
Look, I was going to say that before, and I think I'm going to stick with the 2-0 as well. Look, we've only conceded one at home this year. Mm-hmm. Let's hope for another couple. Look.
And that was a fluky deflection that fell to Dandy, wasn't it?
That's right. So let's hope for another clean sheet at home. I hope to see all of you Knights fans down at the ground this Wednesday night. Come on down, support the boys. It's going to be massive. We're still selling our memberships. The merch is there. It looks wonderful. We will have food being served. Melbourne Croatia will be open if you want to come down for a feed. Mate, Wednesday night football. I can't wait.
I'm going to have the stream going for as long as I can before I start calling the Dandy City Oakley game.
Oh, look, I think they start at 8:30. We start at 7:30. So you
should be able to catch the first 45 or so.
Oh, hopefully we're already a couple up, and then you can just turn it off.
Yeah, exactly. And then once full time comes up at Summer Street, if you want to flick on the Dandy City stream and give myself a listen, I would appreciate it.
Come on, support Joshy like he supports Knights every week. Guys, thanks for tuning in. It's been a wonderful show. We'll see you in a couple of weeks after our break, and hopefully we'll have 3 wins to discuss.
Come on the Knights.
Come on the Knights. Been a great show, everyone. Thanks for stopping by.
I think the Knights, their time has arrived. I think last week that 10-man performance in the preliminary final was absolutely exceptional, so I'm going for the Knights.
When you talk of Knights, it's a real fighting team.
Stuck into the back of the net. Melbourne Knights take the lead 1-0. Melbourne Knights will win the Doherty Cup.
Croatia looking for a finals berth. That's it! The Croatia fans salute the goal that could be so vital.
Are you looking to raise money for your community club?